Good afternoon. Myself, Professor RISHI Sharma. I am professor in marketing and also serving as associate dean in one of the regional campus of Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. And my areas of specialization in teaching and research are knowledge management, ethical issues in marketing and management, and at the same time, I am working upon some of the Vedic remedies towards how we can deal with the issues and challenges in the prevalent world of the management. Whatever is happening in today's world, we are looking towards the West and we want to carry over the solutions from the West. But I feel there is a lot which is imbibed in the Indian culture by which we can change our thinking and we can provide better solutions to the modern management growing challenges for us. And so I would like to discuss with you guys some of the material which I have incorporated from different Indian texts. So I would like to carry on, and this slide will discuss with you the total quality management education which is prevalent in Indian management education, and some issues, need for quality in management education, introspection, why we need to have an indigenous management education system, Indian ideals in management and its significance, consciousness-based education, and then there are some concepts which have been taken from the Vedic concepts like holistic view, Vedic concept of trinity, Vedic concept of motivation, and what manager has to be according to the Vedas. As far as the total quality management is concerned, it comes from a term coined by Feigenbaum in 1983. He says that all of us in higher education want to serve we provide to be of the highest quality, but we are much less likely to agree upon how to define and measure this quality. Furthermore, both the words control and management suggest centralization and authoritarianism, so they typically elicit resounding displeasure on the college or university campus. While there is a lot of talk of quality management, quality circles, the attempts in Indian education system seems to be half-hearted. The experience in some of the institutions suggests that TQM has to be culture and not a program. The culture of quality must percolate down to every individual. This requires a total change in the mindset. The challenge before education system is how to bring this mindset change to bring in quality culture at every level. And the paradox here is we cannot simply root the management theories given by West, hijack the case studies of US companies and apply them. There is an urgent need to re-examine the prevailing system of management, teaching its disciplines, objectives, scope and content. If Indian youth have to be trained and managed, I think it has to be based upon Indian ideals and philosophy. Thus, quality of management education in India can be enhanced by incorporating the principles from ancient system of learning and by adopting the teaching concepts in the old Indian texts like epics and Vedas. Like some of the principles which have been enshrined in Upanishads and Gita, they have been taken as it is. In Gita, they recognize each human being has immense potential, energy and talents. The manager must develop one's third eye, and this third eye is his Jnana Chakshu, which is intuition. Work is done as worship. It is karma, selfless work. When we are not working for the fruits, but we are working because it is meant as a human being, the karma is meant for us, so we do selfless work. Yoga means excellence at work, perfection in work, and quality of output leads to total quality management. By cooperation and mutual help, we all shall achieve the highest human welfare and not by competition. Here we also say that knowledge is not power. The real power lies with the character and wealth, and it has to be based on divinity, divine values. One can do business, make money, earn profit, but it can be managed with due recognition to human and ethical values and respecting all persons in the organization and in the society as human beings. Self-introspection, that is self-analysis and self-criticism, helps to locate these areas of friction and disharmony. Brain stilling is very important, that is, we have to take decision in meditative silence. The role of intuition is again gaining importance in decision making. So management we have been driving as management by how we can get the things done, but for me from Indian philosophical viewpoint, man is an individual who has to, with his experience, manage a group of men, and the task ahead is T, and that T is a sort of a tension between one man and the individuals, that why we must carry the orders of one single individual. And a manager can only be successful if he, with his age expertise, can convert this T of tension to T of trust. And once you achieve this T of trust, the total commitment to work at all the levels of organization hierarchy will be achieved, and one paradigm of TQM will be a success. Present era of management focuses upon quality circles, and experience in some of the organizations suggests that TQM has to be a culture-oriented program, and it has to percolate down to every individual. Hence, the challenge before management in India is how to bring about the mindset changes to bring in quality culture at every level. And there have been some observations, like when IBM USA was making losses, IBM Japan was making profits. IBM USA tried to adopt the Japanese management style to turn around, and the result was increased losses. It is most likely that a style that is successful in Japan would not be as successful as in the US, and vice versa. People are different, the culture are different, and so is the lifestyle. So as discussed, every society has to draw its own lesson based upon their own ethics from their own culture specific areas, their own psychological makeup. Hence, a body of knowledge needs to be incorporated which derives its solution from the rich and huge Indian system of ethics, is known as Indian ideals in management. Indian management does not preach morality. Today, even a 10-year-old boy knows what is right and wrong. The problem is how to implement good values in real life and how to become a great achiever. Hence, Indian Idol teaches how good values pay better dividends, how honesty helps us to grow in the industry and business, how cooperation and not competition could lead a better growth strategy. Till 1990, the management approach was based upon left brain, that is logical, analytical style, and deductive reasoning based on case studies and information. But now a new combination of left analysis and deduction and right brain, that is contemplation, intuition and induction, is becoming more popular. Managers with higher intuitive abilities are creative, imaginative, and are suitable for solving problems related in personnel or any other functional areas of management. So again, taking some views from Upanishads and Gita, we have to view person as a whole. We have to see his third eye. We have to see him working selflessly. So by cooperation we shall achieve highest human welfare state, that is welfare state based upon human. Knowledge is not power. When character is value and the power, then that means we are talking of value based management. One can do business, make money, earn profit, but it can be managed with due recognition to human and ethical values and respecting all persons in the organization and in society as human beings. This is what ethical management is. And when we talk of self-analysis, self-criticism, it leads to appraisal. And when we talk of brainstorming or decision making, but we should not rely upon brainstorming, rather we should rely upon brainstilling, because that increases our intuitive ability to make decisions in meditative silence. So Vedic approach towards management and rests upon how Vedas talk about transactional analysis, what is the holistic view of Nishkama Karma, what is the Vedic concept of Trinity, how efficiency, effectiveness and excellence can be incorporated in totality into the business, how Vedic concept of motivation and leadership can help us, and what is manager according to Vedas. The very important apprehension that today's management education is based upon, or any education is facing this friction, is that we know the knower and we are told to know what is being known, that is the field of study. But how this was known to us, the process of knowing is not known to us. Like if somebody has proved a law, let's say law of inertia, but then we know the Newton proved it and this is the law, but how he came to this law of inertia, this field is left behind. And if we are not talking about this, how can we produce a person with more consciousness based, more creative and more intelligence? Because once you tell him the process, then he can only gain knowledge. And consciousness based education attempts to address all these three values of knowledge, and by acquiring the participant's consciousness, the knower and the process of knowing become more and more lively and awake. Now, as far as the transactional analysis is concerned, we all know that it deals with parent and child ego states. But here, Rig Veda talks of four types of dealings with people. One is Sam, that is treating equally, Dan, rewarding, Ved, discrimination, and Dand is punishment. People are oriented towards three characteristics: Tamasic, the simpleton; Rajasic, the forceful; and Sattvic, the wise. So, on the side of the column we have the methods, and on the side of the rows we have the different Tamasic, Rajasic, that means the qualities. So, if we want to, let's say, transact with a person of tamasic guna, and we want to apply with him the method of Sam, we need to guide that person. And at the same time, if we want to perform some dan type of a thing, we have to reward that person. And bhed means to criticize. And in case of rajasic person, these methods will change. If we want to apply the Sam to him, that means equality, then we have to just inform him. If we want to give him some rewards, then in the form of dan, we have to empower him. But in the case of Sattvic, these things will again change. Sam here will deal with consultation, and Dan here will deal with recognition, and Bhed is the silence, and Dand for him is to monitor. So that clearly shows that how the characteristic of the human being can be dealt differently with different methods, and how they can be better motivated, and how we can transact to take out the best from them. And I feel this is as far, or rather much better, than what transactional analysis is telling us about only three ego states. The holistic view of Nishkam Karma is must in today's society, because equanimity of mind is possible if the manager performs his job considering his duty and not getting attached to it. Because once you attach yourself to your work and your duties, you accept the result, and whatever result is coming to you, you accept as gratitude of God. But once you are attached more to it, and you want the fruits also to be it, then that makes you dissatisfied, and there is where the problem is. But the value and the concept of Nishkam Karma talks about action without getting attached to it, as stated in Gita, and every action has a reaction. The fruit has definitely to come. This is what they tell us, but we should not think of the ends. So this is where the concept of Trinity, in the course of trine, we believe Trinity has also been mentioned in Christianity. There they talk of Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. But in Trinity, in Indian context, we speak as Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma. So if we start by Brahma, he is the generator. If I come to Vishnu, he is the operator. And if we talk of Shiva, he is destroyer. That means God. This is what God is we are completing. But in the case of the organization, Shiva, the phase of time he is representing is the past. Vishnu, the phase of time he is representing is the present. And Brahma, as the phase of time, is representing the future. The forces of nature, the Shiva is controlling is protection, Vishnu is controlling the growth, and Brahma is controlling the creation. Whereas the masses of people, Shiva is performing as a leader, as a bureaucrat. For Vishnu, it is the role of manager, and for Brahma, it is the role of leader. And the classes of work is efficiency, effectiveness, and excellence. And if we say that what sort of the things we need to have in the organization, if we want it as 100%, that means Nita is equal to 1, then that means all these three have to be together seen as a Trimurati. That means organization must have efficiency, effectiveness, and excellence. So that means all three type of the managerial cells working together are required, as all these three phases of trine are always together. All these phases of Trimurti are always together, as in the word God is one, this Trimurti is one, and this 3 by 3 is just one, and that is the present. So managerial success, effectiveness will actually yield upon with all the results of efficiency and excellence. This is what Trinity is. Then Vedic concept of motivation and leadership, they say that Vedic leadership is Purusharth Chatursva, which talk of Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha. These are the 4 objects or the aims of human life: righteousness, wealth, glory, prosperity, and desired objects. And this is the way towards salvation, liberation. So once we remove the obstacle during the performance between the job, then that leads to motivation. The 5 clear stages here are, which can counsel the person for motivation, are patient listening. First, listen to his doubts, his non-clarity of objects, then put strengths upon the individual strengths and remove all his doubts. then discuss his duty on the intellectual level and show him the sense of his duty, then show the action plan to achieve the goal, and finally discuss the consequences of the proposed action plan. And this was what Lord Krishna clearly did in case of Gita. When Arjuna was not ready to fight in the battlefield, he was feeling an emotional obstacles in that, and Krishna removed these emotional obstacle by showing him the path of the karma he is performing, and by telling him the outcome, that the outcome is that if he wins this battle, it is not his win but the win of the truth, and the other people on the other side are actually with the falsehood, and finally we can't do that. So as far as the manager is concerned, the Vedic people they represented manager as Agni, as Agni Dev is having, Agni always aspire to go high. So when we light up a fire, it goes high up. So manager has to have the desire to rise high. Manager must be, that means foresighted. As Agni expands on ground realities, manager should be pragmatic, practical. As Agni is always, with a splint that starts, the manager has to be witty. And as Agni, destroys the impurity, whatever puts into it, and comes out with the pure gold, that means Agni has to remove as a manager acting as an Agni, he should remove his colleagues' shortcomings. Agni has quality of life, so manager has to enlighten the world with his knowledge and remove the darkness. The most influencing characteristics of Agni is that it occurs in struggle or in friction, and life without struggle is not enterprising. Hence manager must be enterprising, which comes out of long and prolonged struggle or friction in life. So some critical issues, we can deal with them. And these critical issues, what we are facing is the critical issue we are facing is the stress, and stress to deal with, we have a relevance of yoga, and other issues are like which we can dealt by other issues which can be dealt by transcendental meditation. This is a science of creative intelligence. It involves sitting on a seed mantra, and then to remove your doubts and clarify your brain, and to emit some constant vibrations which will improve the individual personality. Some scientific aspects of yajna are also given, which you can go through, and there is a relevance of Bhopal gas tragedy here, which has shown clearly that there was a family who was performing the Gayatri Mantra. They had the least destruction in that particular phase. And now the most important thing, if we need towards the development of the organization, or for our family, or for our kutumba, or for your total world, we need to develop our own self. And this development starts by manan, that is memorizing the things, chintan, that means contemplating, and nidhidhyas, which means whatever we have, we should put that practice into learning. And the model we can describe is 4 paths are there to be followed. One is the path of Gyan, that is knowledge, which tells you to discriminate. Raja, the path of mind, samadhi, concentration, meditation, which keeps your mind in stillness. And Bhakti is path of devotion, that is surrendering yourself to the God. And Karma is the path of action. You need not follow all these 4 paths, but you can follow any one of the path to its extremity. Like Gyan was the path followed by the ancient rishis, and Raja was the path followed by the people who were in the deep state of meditative silence, and Bhakti was like with the people with Mirabai and Guru Nanak Dev, whereas Karma was followed by Lord Krishna. For any of the 4 paths can lead towards the mind purification, and once mind is purified, a true value will emerge, and this pure mind, and with this true value, your total value system will be centralized towards the emission of aura and energy. And once you can emit this positive aura and energy, you will definitely become an effective manager. So this is something by which we can tell us how to develop our own self. So just to compare between what is happening in the West and what is happening in the East. So Western people are taking a view of people as essentially good or bad, but when we talk of the East, we have to conform every individual as a god. That is why we say Namaste. Namaste means हम आपकी स्तुति करते हैं क्योंकि आप में भगवान है. There is God inside you, so we are going towards you. So we believe God is there in every human being. Western people are taking individuals as emotions, maybe negative or positive, but here we confirm that they are human beings, not just a set of emotions. They are in totality. We confirm human beings in West as fixed people, but here we see human beings are in constant development stage. Resistance and fearing the individual differences is a Western philosophy, but here we accept everyone as a devata. We say Atithi Devato Bhava, which means that accepting and utilizing the differences what one has. In West, they utilize an individual primarily with reference to the job description, but here we just see the person as a whole. Then expression of feeling is there, but here we make both possible, the appropriate expression and effective use of feelings. And there is game playing and role modeling and these type of the skills or tactics in the West, but here we believe in authenticity of the behavior in the East. And then there is use of status for maintaining the power and personal prestige, but in our system of education we say that status is just relevance for the organization relevant purposes, and it is not an authority but it is a responsibility. So in West we believe that we have to think of the data, but here we talk of confrontation, and by making appropriate confrontation we can lead towards conclusion. There we believe in unproductive efforts or productive effort, and we total process is part of it, but here we see process work as essential for every task. Primary emphasis on West is upon competition, and here we talk of collaboration. So there we can distrust, but here we have to trust the people. So in the last, I would like to finish my deliberation upon this, that in the West, if they are trying to solve the problem of how much a man can possess, because this is what Western philosophy is telling us, to acquire more and more and more, and we are making this planet more unsustainable by this, resources being depleted by this. And that is why the solution, what Vivekananda has told us many decades back, was that in the West they are trying to solve the problem of how much a man can possess, and here in East we are trying to solve the problem on how little a man can live. That means satisfaction, contentment he is referring. And if history has any truth, it must be the later who will survive and will gain in the end battle. And that is what is happening in today's world when we talk of the sustainability issue also. Lesser and more resources, relying upon less resources to produce more and be content with the less, will finally yield something good for the planet, and we can protect the planet, the people, and hence we can protect the profits also. Thanks a lot. Thank you.